And here we are back to Mr. Orth's classroom. Today we're going to look at advertising. This is intended to be an introduction to different advertising terms and techniques. We'll be practicing and developing your understanding of these terms in the coming weeks. Don't feel like you have to listen to the PowerPoint today and have it all make perfect sense to you. Hopefully you find that a number of these items and ideas actually seem familiar to you and connect with what you already know and know how to do. Let's get started. First, I'm going to ask you to brainstorm a list of the different kinds of advertisements or places you might find in advertising. So a list of the different kinds of advertisements or places that could be physical or virtual places you might find advertising. Go ahead and pause the video and write down your own ideas for yourself. Okay, next steps. Depending on your environment, you might want to share this with a partner or as a whole class, but discuss some of the ideas. First, think of the different kinds of advertising you found or are familiar with, as well as different places or locations you might find advertising. Go ahead and pause the video here, and when you're done, come on back. All right, let's begin. 3 purposes of communication. We're going to focus on primarily these 3: to inform, to persuade, or to entertain. It's true that some resources will actually add the purpose of to express, or personal expression, as a 4th purpose of communication. For our class, we're going to consider personal expression part of entertaining and the idea of entertaining oneself. So in terms of advertising, is it mostly informative, persuasive, or entertaining? For our purposes, we're going to look at informative as a purpose for communication, with its primary job is to share information objectively and straightforward. Persuasive, the idea is trying to convince someone of an idea, change their mind, change their actions. Entertaining, to evoke a particular emotion for no other purposes or actions, just than to feel that emotion. Do a quick poll, then come on back. All right, so in terms of those 3 different purposes, those are accomplished by use of one or more of the following word appeals. To get us clear, the word appeal, according to dictionary.com, is the power or ability to attract, interest, amuse, or stimulate the mind or emotions. In one sense, the word to appeal is the idea of attracting. It's trying to draw someone in. It catches us some way and draws us closer to that idea, at least to learn more or to learn more about it. Persuasion is typically accomplished through the use of one or more types of appeal. In the parentheses there in italics, you'll see actually a Greek word that's sometimes used by some authors and writers or teachers to describe or categorize that type of appeal. First is an appeal to logic or reason, also called logos in Greek. Logos literally means the word word. So logic or reason has to do with words and building an argument. In this case, logic is the use of facts and other data to change someone's mind. It's also called argumentation, especially if it's used to appeal or persuade someone using logic or reasoning. Appeals to emotion, Greek word for emotion is pathos, or feelings. Appeals to emotion oftentimes use symbols and other interpretive ideas, things that are subject to a particular person's perspective or experience. Those ideas to influence a particular emotion or feeling. We'll see some examples of those types of feelings that oftentimes are used in advertising. The 3rd type we don't see as often is called an appeal to morals and ethics. The Greek term is ethos. Now, morals and ethics has to do with the application of one's personal or universal sense of right and wrong. Ethics oftentimes is applied to a given circumstance or situation. We might think it's okay to fake someone out, for example, in athletic context, but in life we might say that lying or being deceitful is wrong. So morals has to do with a kind of a universal sense of right and wrong. It's always wrong too, whereas ethics might be only in a given circumstance. So moving from one set of ideas to another, if appeal describes the way an advertiser wishes to connect with the audience, then the technique is a specific method used to accomplish this particular goal. So we choose the techniques to be the most effective means to either appeal to someone's logic, appeal to the audience's emotions, or appeal to a group's ethos or personal morals or ethics. The following are different techniques. The slides will actually be grouped together by ideas that hopefully have some connection to them. The first two are endorsement and testimonial. Endorsement is where a person or group encourages purchase or patronage. Patronage would be a vocab word for actually shopping at or using a service from a particular company, business, or product. Endorsement simply means that I think you should buy it. It's not stating anything other than the fact that they think you should buy it or partake of that. A testimonial is a type of endorsement. In a testimonial, a person or group advocates or puts forth a position. They say you should buy or use a particular product or service based on personal experience or usage. I've used it and you should too. There are three types of testimonials. First is a celebrity testimonial, that someone's status as a celebrity may make you want to buy that, regardless of whether or not they know anything about that topic, but because you know them, therefore their testimony is valid and you should buy the product. Expert testimonial. Expert testimonials have to do with the idea that someone knows a lot about it. You may not know who they are, but if they're a doctor and they're recommending a particular medicine, then that's someone you should trust. There's also a consumer testimonial, the I'm someone just like you, and I used it and it worked for me. Bear in mind, what you'll see oftentimes in commercials is that the individual who's giving the testimonial, particularly an expert or consumer, may not actually be a doctor, may not actually be the consumer. It's a paid actor relating that information that could have come from an actual doctor or consumer. So be aware of that, especially reading the fine print while watching TV commercials. This is a little confusing that there's another use of the word appeals, but this is actually now a type of advertising techniques, and you'll see 4 below. As a technique, appeals use a particular idea or association to make us want something. So for example, eye appeal. We use this often for food, and when we see things or smell things that are really appealing to us, particularly seeing on television, it makes us feel hungry, want to eat or taste that. Youth appeal. The idea is it's a feeling here, that feeling younger is better. Very rarely is youth appeal applied to people feeling older is better, though could be an argument made that there's an age appeal for people being of a certain age so they can do things that perhaps when you're younger you're not legally or socially accepted to do. Sex appeal. This is really the idea of what is supposed to be attractive and appealing to someone's sense of desire. Snob appeal makes us feel better than others by having what they don't. You'll see this overlaps with other techniques that follow. Feelings are different advertising techniques intending to manipulate or target a particular emotion. Fear as a feeling technique is, if you don't do this, look out. It's kind of a warning. Happy family, it's because I love you, therefore I'll do this. If I want to have a happy family, then I'll make sure everybody eats a particular meal because they look so happy in the commercial. Transfer. If we have a good time and we bought this, then if you buy this, you'll have a good time too. The idea that the emotion there isn't necessarily logical, but it's that sense of if you buy this or use this product, you'll be just like the people in the commercial, even if it doesn't make any logical sense. Magic is really categorized as a feeling technique because they don't really explain how or why. It's just, wow, everything's better. And wouldn't it be great if you had this so everything could be better for you too? Wordplay. Break this down into 2 chunks here. Wordplay is the use of specific words or phrases to make us desire the product or service. Special offer types such as sale, BOGO, or buy one, get one, 5 for $5 for a limited time. These are intended to say, oh, we should do this now because we don't want to miss out on this. Something new plays on words the idea that new is good and old is bad. Even if it's new, it's just new packaging and nothing's actually changed about it. And new might not be as good, but new is better. So we tend to want to buy things that are new and improved. Tech talk. Technobabble. You may not necessarily understand what it means, but it's considered a good thing. You don't know what the number means on the computer, but it's more than the other one, therefore it must be better. Other types. Glittering generalities. Specific words that avoid using any specific details. And so we might say it's dramatically improved. Okay, the best ever. What does that actually mean? What are we comparing it to? So it sounds specific, but it's not actually saying anything. Statistics are numbers that are used to skew perception. You know, just because 4 to 5 dentists recommend it, did they only ask 5? And were those paid supporters of that particular dentist or toothpaste or gum? And symbols. Words, images, or logos associate with ideas. No need for explanation. We see the logo, it's of our favorite team, therefore we should definitely buy it no matter what. The big picture. These used to connect with other people. So bandwagon, peer pressure, everybody's buying it, we should too. Plain folk. It's for the normal people, kind of the opposite of snob appeal. And public service is see how much we care about you. We're a good company, therefore you should use our products. Next steps. So as advertising's all around us, the next logical step is to apply your new understandings by either first deciding whether an ad is appealing to logos, pathos, or ethos, and second, to identify specific techniques used in the ad. Don't forget, because you find one doesn't mean you're done. Remember, you're going to be practicing this a lot in the upcoming weeks as you get ready to create your own ads. But take your time, bring questions, and if at all possible, try to find examples of ones you're not sure about where they are for categories, either for appeals or for techniques. Try to have fun with this. It's really quite entertaining to look at the kind of the silliness and illogical nature of many ads. Even so, we have a lot to learn. So let's get to it.